How are you, sir?
Very good.
It is
good to see you, man.
Good to see you again.
Yeah.
And I could say Edinburgh. And people were impressed with the way that I roll the R.
Yeah.
You remember the last time we talked, I said Edinburgh.
Edinburgh, yeah.
And you
yeah,
gave
yeah.
me that look of like, dude, really?
Yeah. And even when you normally tell Americans, they still don't get it right. So it was actually very impressive that you came through. Your Edinburgh is better than my Edinburgh now.
What?
Well, listen to me, I'm going Edinburgh, but it's Edinburgh.
Yeah, you were my teacher.
Yeah.
So, and I told everybody in Edinburgh that I knew you, and they were like, you don't know Jared. I showed a video. I said, yeah, we do. Man, this is awesome. Great job. I mean, we're going to get into how this is different than the others, which I love the closer story about Mike Banning. But I want to ask you, because we've talked on both the other films, tell me what it is about playing this character that you love so much.
I love that on the one hand, he's kind of like a Bourne character. He has that skill set, but on the other hand, he's every man. You totally identify with this guy because he has a family, he has a job, he struggles with the job. You know, you get to see this really human side, but you also get to see this incredibly talented, tenacious warrior who's loyal, who's brutal. You know, he has a dark side too. I feel like audiences really kind of identify with him and get behind him and go, you know, you don't know it's going to go well because he might mess up.
Well, I love the personal side of Mike that we get to see in this story because there are lots of explosions. There's a lot going on. But there is a more personal side. His family, his father. And I'm not ruining anything, but you just get to see more about this character.
So much more. And the scenes with the father, you know, bringing Nick Nolte into the movie is so touching and it's so funny and it's crazy and really brings a whole... Like, I think Nick and I should do a spin-off, you know, like our own slightly older Hobbs and Shaw.
Dude, that would be great because when you're in the woods, I was really laughing. Again, I don't want to ruin anything, but those scenes, you've got to see this movie. It just really, I was cracking up, but then explosions go off.
Yeah.
So that's going up. But I want to talk about another co-star. I would be so nervous about pushing Morgan Freeman underwater. That's God.
No, listen, even God has to breathe air, you know? It's like, and they're going, okay, so push him under, but you got to go deep. But remember, you got to let him up because he's 81 years old. You can't hold him down for that long, you know? And so there was the water stuff, but there was also we spent 3 days running, me picking him up, running upstairs with him, running along. He's 81 years old. When you do that, you don't do it once. You have to cover it a million different ways. We probably did it 70 times, running all over the place. And he was so up for it. But I'm holding him from behind, and he's long legs, and I'm trying to run behind him and not clip his heels. And I'm going, this could end so... If that happens in the stairs and he falls down... I'm telling you, it's pressure.
Well, you'll get headlines. My friend, great job. Great to see you again.
Yeah, you too, man.
I can't wait for part 4.
Yeah, you never know.
Gentlemen, it's great to see you all again.
Thank you.
Rick, I will tell you that if your goal was more explosions, more action, more intensity, you did it.
Good.
I really like this movie.
Thank you.
Good.
There's a story going around, though, Mr. Freeman, that you did your own stunts. Is that true or false?
That's true.
It is.
That's true. Such as they were. I mean, you know, running before a hail of lead, swimming in cold water. Yeah, that was me. Yeah.
Nick, what was it like to join this franchise? What's the experience like?
Well, I love the story. I mean, to step in as the father. It was a perfect role. And I had the same issues the character had, except I was not as extreme as that. I sold draft cards, so they made me ineligible for Vietnam. So everybody had a way. Talking to myself now.
I get you. I hear you.
Yeah, so I really wanted to be, and Butler, you know, he's Scottish. I'm a little Scottish. I'm not his size Scottish. He can throw that big rock, you know. That'd be a good rock thrower.
Which actually leads me to my next question, because we're seeing a different side of Mike Banning this time around. Is it a little bit more personal? Am I right about that?
It's a lot more personal.
Yeah,
the
sure.
whole idea was to give you an insight to a real person, not a killing machine, you know, as such. A man with cares at home, and a man who has serious personal issues. And then you meet an estranged father whom he hasn't seen since he was a little boy, and doesn't know what to do with that. You know, that's yeah. So juxtapose that with extraordinary action. Good movie.
Yeah.
We're on chapter 3. I want a chapter 4. I'm just going to throw that out there. I love this series. But, you know, some movies don't even go past 1. And here we are on chapter 3. What inspires you to make it different?
It was the confidence in Gerard Butler, you know, and what he wanted to bring to number 3, that it would never feel like a sequel, that would actually be an installment that lived on its own, where you took the action pack right of the first 2 movies and this time created an origin story of Mike Banning and meeting the people in his life. And I love the idea that of flipping this over from the guy that's always been on offense, waiting carnage, to suddenly putting him on defense and making him the rabid dog, the fugitive at large. And because it gave you tremendous ideas and directions to go of new type of complexity of character, and also meet a guy that's, you know, addicted to the adrenaline rush, that is not wanting to give up the gun, and what comes with that, the hardships of that, the toll on the family, the toll on the job, the toll on the protected, the person that's been a paternal figure in Mike Banning's life for all 3 movies. So you get to play with all these kind of interwoven character stories and arcs, and have an emotional attachment, so that the action doesn't become mindless. You're actually involved in it and embedded in it in a way that you understand what the characters are going through, because you're with the characters in their ride.
It is really cool to meet you. I went through all my stuff. I was like, I can't believe we've never talked before.
That is interesting that we haven't.
Because your work on Gotham, fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, Fish Mooney scared me to no end. There were a couple of nights I'm like, she scares me. Sleep with the lights on.
I think that's so funny. I hear that so often about that character. That is so funny to me.
And now you're on the other side of the law.
Yes.
You're the tough, doesn't put up with anything FBI agent.
Yeah.
Was it an adrenaline rush to play this character?
It was. It was an adrenaline rush. I hadn't realized until I got on set how heightened all the emotional kind of heightened states that I was constantly in on set.
Well, the other thing, too, is, I mean, there's a credibility thing with it, too, to play. Some people have played officers in the past, and you're just like, I just don't feel it.
Right.
You nailed this. I
Oh,
mean,
thank you.
I don't think it's a good idea to chase Gerard Butler. Anyway, you did it in this movie. Tell me what that was like.
It was great. To be honest with you, I was like, how cool is it that my little self gets to like chase Gerard Butler, right? And so I just thought it was the coolest thing. And I thought it was such a cool casting choice as well.
You know, this cast is incredible. I just talked to Morgan Freeman and Nick Nolte.
Yeah.
I got a little scared for Morgan, though, because there's some scenes that I'm going to ask Gerard about that, pushing him underwater. I wouldn't do. There's 2 things I wouldn't do: chase Gerard Butler and try to push Morgan Freeman underwater.
Real talk.
But when you see a cast like this, and you included, is it just make that experience of working with an ensemble more special?
Absolutely. When I heard that I got to work with Gerard and Piper and Morgan and Nick, I'm just like, this is a really cool cast. We're going to have a good time. And like at this part of my life, that's important to me, like who I'm spending time with on set. And so I was like, this is going to be fun. I can do this.
I have to give you kudos for Red Table Talk. I just want to
you.
tell you that I'm a huge fan. Congrats on the Emmy nomination and all
Thank
that.
you.
I love what you do there. Why did you get into showbiz?
It was just in my blood. I knew at 3 years old, and thank goodness that my mother knew too, you know. So it's always been a part of my life. It's just, I was like, okay, well, if I'm not going to be on the silver screen, I'm going to be in the courtroom. I'm going to take the performance somewhere, right? So it's either law or Hollywood. So Hollywood it was.
You want to know something weird? So I worked in radio, as I told you, as I
Right.
know Will. I was supposed to be a lawyer too. That's where my dad was sending me. And I did this. When you just tell me the story, I was kind of tripping because I was like,
Yes.
it was lawyer. And then I'm like, no, I kind of do this for that same reason.
Yes.
Broadcasting and all that. Wow.
Yep, I never forget. I called my mom. I went to North Carolina School for the Arts college for 1 year. And I said, you got a choice. If I'm going to stay in college, I'm going to go to law school. But, you know, if you really think I can do this, because I think I can, I need to go to Los Angeles and see if I can make it. And she was like, Hollywood, here we come.
I love it. If I had been a lawyer, a lot of people would be in jail. Because I would have lost a lot of cases.